Welcome to Ogle's channel. Thanks for watching today. And let's talk about the new TMNT movie, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie that just came out on Netflix about a week or so ago. And I'll be honest, I never watched this series before. I know it's a cartoon over the last 4 or 5 years. And it just really didn't look like my kind of style, like the animation style. But I decided to give the movie a chance. And honestly, it's a really fun movie. So today, let's just break down what exactly goes on in this movie and if it's worth the watch for old school TMNT fans. Now first off, let's talk about the plot of the film, and I won't give away any spoilers here. I will talk about some at the close of the video, but I'll give a warning before that. But the basic plot is there's a future timeline where the Turtles are fighting an invasion of the Krang, and they pretty much destroyed the entire planet, overtaken it, and even killed off some of the main characters. All we have left are Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Casey Jones. And this next part was all new to me since I've not watched the new series, but the Turtles all have mystical powers, and in particular Michelangelo, who can open up a time portal. And also, while we're talking about that, let's just pause for a second about this design here, because I love mystical Michelangelo. I mean, look at his look. It's different than what we usually associate with him. It's like a wise old man. Very cool take on mystical Michelangelo. And I don't know if these are little tufts of hair off to the side, but I like to envision almost like a Martin Van Buren type thing on him. I just love the look. But the time portal is opened up, and Casey Jones is taken back in time to destroy the key, which opened the Krang invasion in the first place. And from here we travel through his journey, meeting April, Splinter, and the 4 main turtles. Now, I'll admit, I've always loved Krang, and having a full invasion from his dimension is a really cool story, and sort of a dream come true to me. And the Krang powers have never been on cooler display than what they're showing with this movie, because they're using them to take over the population, turn them into basically like Krang zombies to a degree. Also, he's taking over machinery, bringing the Technodrome through a giant portal in the sky. I mean, it's just a really cool concept of what they're going with. And while I'll admit the plot is not completely original and sort of feels like the story of Terminator, or even more so the Days of Future Past from the X-Men storyline, especially with them going back in the past to stop this apocalyptic world. I mean, even the Krang machines and the Sentinels look pretty similar to some degree. So I mean, there's some similarities there. But even if it wasn't a completely original film, it's still really fun and it's action-packed the whole way through, and I had a great time with it. Now let's talk about the character designs for a little bit, because I'm an old school TMNT fan, you know, the 1987 series, and I never really gave this particular series a chance because it looked a little silly to me, and I just gave it a pass because of that. However, after like 5 to 10 minutes into the movie, I started liking the designs quite a bit because they were so much more expressive in all of their actions and all their thoughts, and in the fight scenes, you could really tell exactly what the characters were thinking and sort of the emotions of what they were going through. And I'm not saying you couldn't do that in the old series, but it was just, you know, overhyped in this one, and it was just a neat concept. I also like how all the turtles were different types of turtles, which led to strengths and weaknesses, and there's just something about Raphael being a snapping turtle that I just love. I don't know, it just fits so well together. Even though I will acknowledge they sort of swapped the personalities of Raphael and Leonardo, and that was a little bit, threw me off a little bit at the beginning, but it actually made more sense as the movie went on. Now, April was also a great take and had a really fun and well-developed character. She felt more like a member of the official team instead of just simply a sidekick. Casey Jones was in the same category as that as well. However, one character that I did not care for was Splinter. I love Splinter in the old comics and the old show, and he just comes off way too goofy in this show. Less of the wise old master and more of a Big Lebowski type character. Perhaps he's better developed in the show, but I just didn't care for him in this movie. But I'm usually a huge Splinter fan. Now, one thing that I mentioned a little bit earlier is that the turtles in this movie actually have mystical powers, and that's going to throw a few fans off at the start of the film, but as the movie goes on, you actually start to enjoy these mystical powers quite a bit, because they all seem very different from each other, and they're actually just sort of fun powers to watch, like Leonardo and his portals, Raphael and his giant, basically Hulk suit or Iron Man suit he can put on. It was just a good mix-up, and I like seeing a different vision of what the Turtles could have been if it was handled by a different creative team, and honestly, it did make the action scenes really fun. Overall, I think this movie is really enjoyable for old-school Turtle fans as well as new Turtle fans. Obviously, fans of this incarnation will enjoy it more. However, even if you've watched none of this particular series, it's still a good movie. They even had some things like the East Laird University, which is a nod to old school fans and obviously the creators of the Turtles. And even one of the main Krangs was a direct callback to the 1987 show. And some people even claim that some of the punks are a direct nod to Rocksteady and Bebop, which maybe, maybe not, I'm not sure on that. But they did try to do things to pull all fans together. If you haven't seen it yet, give it a watch. If nothing else, you'll see a fun turtle adventure. There's a bit of a different twist to what you're used to. But if you enjoyed this particular series, I think you'll absolutely adore the movie. But there are a few more things I want to talk about that are spoilers in the movie. So spoilers are coming in 3, 2, 1, and Krang Raphael. Holy cow, was this awesome to see. It reminded me of that Star Trek episode or movie where Captain Picard became part of the Borg, which like totally shocked me as a kid and thought was like the coolest thing ever. This would have been the coolest thing ever if I was a kid. So long, Star Trek. The animation where it took him over and the fights that had to go against him, amazing. And of course where Leo helps him to remember who he was to come back to their side, predictable, yes, but moving nonetheless. Also, the final scene with Leo versus the Krang was so well done. Getting his portal power back and tricking the Krang and falling into their own dimension was such a great idea, and the animation was so well done throughout the whole thing. The entire ending fight scenes were all just something to behold. And also, when Donatello actually became part of the Krang machinery, he had to, of course, take off his protective shell, and he basically got absorbed into the computer. I loved it. That was like one of the best things in the movie to me. And how he's so excited. I mean, that is like Donatello's ultimate dream lair. But I had to mention those few things for people who have already seen the movie. But like I said, really fun film. And if you haven't seen it, give it a try. If you have seen it, you probably enjoy watching it again. But overall, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other Turtle videos listed up above. And by all means, go out there, find a great game to play, and just simply have a great rest of the day.